everyone, welcome back to my Tinker channel. If you noticed, I'm trying to change my YouTube name, can't find the right one yet, but I will, and let's hope so it's gonna stay like that. I hope you're all not sick of seeing me changing all the time something in there, but I need to find the right one for my channel at the moment, because as you noticed, like I'm reading and working in a progress. Thank you everyone for comments for my first video where I was reading the book. I'm listening the second video now, second audio, the way how I'm reading. I feel sorry for you guys that you need to hear that, but you know what, reading out loud is quite hard. When you read inside in your mind, you don't read like so bad, but out loud is completely different. And let's hope so. You know what, I won't give up. I will keep doing it, and maybe one day I will read like very good. But yeah, there you go, there's another video. I'm reading in this video 3 chapters because they are quite small, and doing the same, work in progress. And again guys, if you like it, write down the comments in the comment section down below. Please don't lie, be honest, and let me know how it is. And if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. If you're a new subscriber and you want to subscribe to my channel, thank you so much as well. Don't forget to press thumbs up and like buttons. You didn't like it, you can press thumbs down as well. Thank you so much, and enjoy, probably, that's what I would say. And I have a Ko-fi account as well if you decide you want to support my channel. Like I said, maybe I'm gonna buy some new book, maybe I'm gonna buy some new diamond painting. Yeah guys, thank you so much, and enjoy, and see you in my next video. Bye. Chapter 2. Here or There. A look of panic swiped across the doctor's face. "Oh dear," he said, "there are 192 questions on this form, and we are still stuck on question 1. "I'm sorry," replied the boy as he lay on the hospital trolley. A tear rolled down his cheek. He felt like such a failure, not even being able to remember his own name. "Oh no, you're crying," said the doctor. "Please don't cry. The hospital principal could come by and think that I have upset you." The boy did his best to stop. Dr. Looper searched his pockets for a tissue. Unable to locate one, he dabbed the boy's eyes with the form. "Oh no, now the form is wet," he exclaimed. He then began blowing on the form to try and dry it. This made the boy laugh. "Oh good," said man. "You are smiling. Now look, I'm sure we can find out your name. Does it begin with the A?" The boy was pretty sure it didn't. "I don't think so." "B?" The boy shook his head. "C?" He shook his head again. "This could take some time," muttered the doctor under his breath. "Tea!" exclaimed the boy. "You would like a cup of tea?" "No, my name begins with T." Dr. Looper smiled as he wrote the first letter on the top of the form. "Let's see if I can guess. Tim, Ted, Terry, Tony, Theo, Tage? No, you don't like a Tage. I've got Tina?" All these suggestions firing at the boy clouded his mind, making it more difficult for him to remember, but finally his own name came shining through. "Tom," said Tom. "Tom?" exclaimed the doctor, as if he was about to have guessed it. He wrote down the next 2 letters. "So what do they call you, Tom?" "Thomas, Tommy, Big Tom, Little Tom, Tom Thumb?" "Tom," replied Tom wearily. Tom had already said his name was Tom. "Do you have a surname?" "It begins with C," said the boy. "Well, at least we have the first letter. It's like doing the crosswords." "Charper." "Tom Charper?" said the man, scribbling it down on the form. "That's question 1 done. Just 191 to go. Now, who brought you to the hospital today?" "Are you Mommy and Daddy here?" "No," said Tom. He could be sure of that. His parents weren't here. They were never here. They were always there. For some years now, they had packed their only child off to posh boarding school deep in the English countryside, St. Village Boarding School for Boys. Tommy's father earned a lot of money working in desert countries far away, extracting oil from the ground, and his mother was very good at spending the money. Tom would only see them on school holidays, usually in different countries each time. Even though Tom had traveled alone for hours to see them, his father would often still have to work all day. And his mother would leave him with the nanny while she was shopping for more shoes and handbags. The boy would be lavished with the presents upon arrival: a new train set, a model plane, or a nice suit of armor. But with nobody to play with, Tom would get bored quickly. All he really wanted was to spend time with Mom and Dad, but time was on the thing they never ever gave him. Time was one thing what they never ever gave him. No mother and father are abroad, answered Tom. I am not sure who brought me to the hospital today. It must have been a teacher. Oh, said Dr. Looper, excited. Might it have been your games teacher? There was a man in a waiting area dressed as a cricket umpire with a straw hat and long white jacket, which I thought was unusual, as we tend not to have cricket matches in the waiting area. That must have been my gaming teacher, Mr. Carsey. Yes? Dr. Looper's eyes flicked down to his form. They flashed with panic once again. Oh dear, it only says parents, guardian, friend, or others on the form. What am I going to do? Tick others, instructed the boy, taking charge. Thank you, said the doctor, looking relieved. Thank you so much. What is the nature of your injury? A bump of the head. Of course, yes, replied Dr. Loopers, as he scribbled that down on the form. Now the next question. Would you say the general appearance of Lord Fund Hospital has been lower than your expectations, has met your expectations, has exceeded your expectations, or has greatly exceeded your expectations? What was the first again? Asked Tom. The pain in his head made it hard for him to think straight. Oh, that's been lower than your expectations. What is the general appearance of the hospital? I've only seen the ceiling so far, sighed the boy. And how would you rate the general appearance of the ceiling? Fine. I'll put that in. Has met your expectations. Next question. Would you say that the care you have received today at the hospital has been poor, fine, good, very good, or in fact, too good? It's been all right, replied Tom. Sorry, but all right isn't one of the answers in a form. Good then. Not very good, said Dr. Loopers, a hint of pleading in his voice. It would be nice to say I got a very good on my first week. Tom signed. Put to good, then. Oh, thank you, replied the doctor, his eyes dancing with delight. No one ever gets too good. Thought I worry whether too good might actually be a bad thing. Can I just put very? Yes, put whatever you like. I'll put very good. Thank you very much. This will go down very well with the hospital principal, Sir Quentin Strilers. Now, next question. We are racing through them now. Would you recommend Lord Fund Hospital to family and friends with a heavy heart, half-heartedly, wholeheartedly, or very wholeheartedly? Suddenly, Nurse Missy busted through the curtains. There isn't time for all your stupid questions, Doctor. The man put his hand up to his face. I thought he thought he was going to be slapped. Don't hurt me, you silly boy. "As if I would," replied the nurse, before clouting him round the air hard with her thick, heavy hand. "Ow!" screamed Dr. Loopers. "That hurts!" "Well, at least you are in the right place for any injury." "Ha ha 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 ha!" The woman laughed to herself and almost managed a smile. "I need the station back right now. I have new patient being rushed here in an ambulance who managed to staple his own fingers together. Stupid man." "Oh no," replied the doctors. "I can't stand the sight of blood. Get this boy out of here before I'm back, or I will clout you round the other ear." With that, Nurse Missy whispered back the curtain and stumped off down the corridor. "Okay," began Dr. Loopers, "let me speed this up as much as I can." The man began speaking very fast. "Bad swelling, keep your hair for a few nights, just to be safe, hope you don't mind." Tom didn't mind staying at the hospital at all. Anything to miss time at his dreaded boarding school. It was one of the most expensive schools in the country, and so most of the boys who went there were exceedingly posh. Tom's parents were rich because of his father's well-paid job abroad, but the family were not posh at all. Lots of the boys looked down their aristocratic noses at Tom. "I'm just going to send you up to the children's ward right away. Nice and peaceful up there. You should get a good night's sleep." "Porter!" Tom froze in fear as the terrifying man limped back in. "Yes, Dr. Looper, sir," he slurred. Sorry. What was your name again?" "Tom," replied Tom. "Take Tom up to the children's ward." Chapter 3. Bump. The porter wheeled the trolley Tom was laying on into the hospital lift. The old misshapen man hummed quietly to himself as he pressed a button for the top floor. Tom hated being alone with him. It wasn't as if he had done anything scary, but he just looked scary. The boy had never seen anyone so spectacularly ugly before. Yes, there was a teachers at his posh boarding school that were so unfortunately looking they had been given cruel nicknames by the boys, but none was as scary looking as the porter. There was Miss Rabbit, the Dome of Doom, Mr. Dead Squirtle on his head, the Hairy Gnome, Mrs. Googly Eyes, Dr. Octopus, Mr. Clown Shoes, the Dinosaur, Miss Hooter, and Professor Comb Over. Ping! The lift door closed. The porter smiled at Tom, but the boy looked the other way. He couldn't bear to look at the man. He seemed even creepier when he smiled. Those rotten and misshapen teeth looked like they could crunch through your bones. Tom's eyes scanned the man's name badge. Unlike the nurse, a doctor he had already met, this badge didn't have a name on it, but just the man's job, porter. As the lift trundled slowly upwards, Tom's world grandly began to take shape. Little by little, he began piecing together the events that had brought him here. It had been a blazing hot summer's day, and he had been playing cricket on the school pitch. The boy lifted his head slightly and looked down. He was still wearing his cricket whites. Despite his school priding itself on always coming top in cricket and rugby in the country, Tom wasn't good at sports. The school celebrated all its sporting heroes with cups and trophies and medals and special mentions by the headmaster in assembly. A boy who much preferred to hide himself away in the corner of the school library with some dusty old books like Tom could easily feel like a nobody. Tom was miserable at school and would wish the time away. If only the days and nights would pass quicker. He would often think to himself, The boy was only 12, but he longed to leave childhood behind forever. Then he would be a grown-up and would not have to go to school anymore. The school played cricket in the summer, and Tom immediately discovered the best part of the game for the reluctant sportsman, fielding. The boy would always place himself at the very far edge of the pitch, so far out that Tom could indulge in his favorite pastime, daydreaming. So far out that could daydream the afternoon away. So far out there was little or no chance of the heavy red leather ball ever coming your way. Well, that was Thomas thinking. This time he was wrong. Very wrong. As the numbers of the floor flashed past in the lift, the last thing Tom remembered flashed past in his mind, a heavy red leather ball flying through the air straight towards him and terrific speed. Thud! Then everything went dark. Ping! This is your stop, young sir. Top floor. Home of Lord Hunt Hospital. Children's ward, sluttered the porter. As the lift doors opened, the trolley was rolled out. The porter pushed Tom down yet another long corridor before a pair of tall doors banged open. Bang! The pair was inside the children's ward. Welcome to your new home, said Porter. Chapter 4. The Children's Ward. Tom raised his swollen head a little to take his first look at what was his new home, the children's ward of Lord Hunt Hospital. There were 4 other children in the ward. They were all sitting or laying on their beds. All were silent, and no one paid this new boy much attention. Boredom hung in the still, stuffy air. It was more like an old people home than children's ward. In the nearest bed was a plump-looking boy in an old pair of spotty pajamas that were too small for him. He was flicking through a dog-eared picture book at helicopters and sneaky munching on some chocolate he had hidden under his bedsheet. The name George was chalked on a blackboard above his bed. Next to him was short, slightly boy with a neatly combed ginger hair. He must have had an operation on his eyes, as they were covered with bandages. So covered, in fact, that it would be impossible to see anything at all. Anything. A tall pile of classic music CDs and CD players sat on his side table. The boy's pajamas were much smarter than George's, and he wore them neatly with the top button done up. Over his bed in chalk was named Robin. Across the ward from him was a girl with a bob of black hair and round glasses. Startlingly, she had both her legs and arms in plaster. All 4 of her limbs were being held aloft by a complex series of pulleys and winches. She looked like a puppet on strings. On her blackboard I read Amber. Then in the far corner of the ward, away from the other children, Tom noticed a sorrowful figure. It was a girl, but it was hard to tell her age, as it looked as if illness had weakened her. A few wispy strands on hair sat on top of her head. Above her bed was chalked the name Sally. Say hello to everyone, young sir, promoted the porter. Tom felt shy, so muttered hello as quietly as he could get away with without being told to repeat himself. There was a vague murmur of hellos in return, so Sally remained silent. This must be your bed right here, sluttered the porter as he wheeled the trolley over. Expertly, the boy was rolled from the trolley to the bed. Are you comfortable? Asked the porter, plumping up a pillow. Tom didn't answer. It wasn't comfortable at all. It was like lying on a concrete slab with a brick for a pillow. Even the trolley was more comfortable. It was stupid for Tom to pretend not to hear the porter, as he was standing right next to him. The man was so close that Tom could smell him. In fact, the boy was sure the whole ward could smell him. The man was rather pongy, like he hadn't washed for quite some time. His clothes were tired and worn. His shoes were falling apart, and his work overall was thick with the grease and grime. He looked like he might be homeless. "So this is the world's worst cricketer," came a voice. The children in the ward tensed and shivered at the sound. Then a tall, tiny lady stepped out of her office and far end of the room. It was Matrone, the senior nurse who was in charge of the ward. Slowly and surely she made her way down the row of beds towards Tom, her high heels clunking on the floor. From a distance, Matrone looked like she was beautiful. Her long blonde hair had been sprayed perfectly in place. Her face was shiny with the makeup, and her teeth were sparkling white. However, when she got near to Tom, the boy realized that her smile was fake. Her eyes were two large black pools, a window into the darkness within. Matrone's perfume was sickly sweet. It burned the children's throat as she passed by. "You are meant to catch a cricket ball, not header it, said the lady. "Stupid, stupid child." Ha 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 ha. No one laughed except her. It certainly didn't sound funny to Tom, whose head was still throbbing with pain. "That cricket ball left a very nasty bump, Madame Matrone," slurred the porter. His voice was crackling, a little as he was nervous of the woman. "I think young sir should have an X-ray first thing in the morning." "I don't need your opinion, thank you," snapped Matrone. In an instant her face didn't seem that beautiful after all, as it twisted into a snarl. "You are nothing more than a lovely porter, lowest of the low. You don't know the first thing about caring for the patients, so in future keep your mouth shut." The porter lowered his head, and the other children exchanged nervous looks. It was clear this lady intimidated them all too. With the click of her hand, Matrone brushed the porter aside, and he stumbled a little to steady himself. "Let me look at this bump," she said as she peered over the boy. Yes, that is nasty bump. You should have an X-ray first thing in the morning." The porter rolled his eyes at Tom, but once again the boy didn't react. Without even so much as glancing at him, Matrone said the man, "Porter, you may go before you stink out my ward." The porter signed before giving a brief smile and nod to all the children on the ward. "Quickly!" shouted the woman, and the man limped off as fast as he could, dragging his withered leg behind him. Tom began longing to be back at school. The children's ward seemed an utterly miserable place to be. Thanks for listening this video audio. I hope you did enjoy it. Write down your comments in the comment section down below. Subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much for listening. And see you guys in the next one. Bye. Have a fantastic day.